Hello, you beautiful people. So, I think we all know that Sparkle is one of the most popular characters in Honkai Star Rail by every single metric, right? Her trailer alone is currently the second most viewed trailer on HSR's channel, and I don't think it's a surprise to anyone because that trailer is genuinely a banger. Other than that, I would say that Sparkle's era of HSR marked the start of the most popular period of Star Rail, with her Acheron and Firefly being some of the most popular banners of all time in the entire gacha space. Now, because of all this stuff, I would say it's not really a surprise that Sparkle is getting another version of herself, and she's also going to be Edo Star's first 5-star limited character with a totally new path. Today, I'm mainly going to go over some new info that we recently received related to Sparkle's new form, and along with that, I'll also do a recap of all the previous info that we've had on her. Basically, I'm going to talk about her path, her playstyle, her new form's name, and some extra stuff that I could find about her. If you're planning to pull for any of the new characters though, you might want to check out Lubar because on this site you can save up to a total of 25% on all your purchases. To give an example, I'll buy this 3280 Nyric Shard pack for $43, and this same pack costs me about $50 from the in-game shop. You can see that it's cheaper, right? For the top-up process, just enter your UID in this box and choose your respective server depending on your account. After waiting for a few minutes, I received my Jades with the double top-up bonus because it was my first purchase. If you use my link, which is in the description or the pinned comment though, you can get an extra 10% off on top of all the other discounts. Anyways, before we begin, let me just mention the usual disclaimer that everything which I mention in this video is taken from different reliable sources, but it's still not set in stone, so take all this info with a grain of salt. With that being said, let's begin without wasting any more of your time or energy. Alright, starting with the basic info first, Sparkle's new form is likely going to be a Fire-type unit who follows the totally new path that is going to be playable in patch 4.0, which is Elation. Now, I know most of you are probably curious about the Elation path and its primary mechanics, but as of right now, we barely have any kind of solid info on it, and even the info that we do have isn't really that reliable. So I'm mostly going to be focusing on Sparkle's new form in this video rather than talking about Elation. Okay, based on the current info, this new Sparkle will be some sort of a sub-DPS type unit who will also provide a decent amount of buffs to the entire team. This was the first real info that we got on her a while ago, and I would say it makes a ton of sense, as we also got Evernight recently, who fills quite literally the same archetype as this new Sparkle, but for Remembrance instead of Elation. In my opinion though, I feel like the new Sparkle will definitely have a solid amount of main DPS potential, as she is our first introduction to the Elation path as a whole, and the first characters of every archetype generally tend to be a main DPS. Other than that, her being a fire character makes a lot of sense, because even in her original form, I think a lot of imagery and aspects of her design already look to be fire in the first place, to the point where I feel like if she didn't have a trace for quantum characters specifically, she probably would have been a fire-type unit. Now, her new 5-star form's name is going to be Hanami, which is really close to her original name Hanabi, before it was changed to Sparkle. I know a lot of people, especially in the Japanese community, still call her by Hanabi, so I thought it was nice that they called her something very similar, as it's fitting since Sparkle is most popular in Japan. Also, personally, I think the name Hanami is really cute, and I like it quite a lot. Her path being Elation is also likely tied to her being a follower of Aha, who is quite literally the Aeon of Elation, but I actually originally expected her to be an Emanator instead of just a regular character. Based on the current info though, I don't think Hanami is going to be an Emanator of Elation, but considering this leaves the opportunity open to us getting a future Elation Emanator who is likely Sampo, I'm pretty happy with this outcome too. Also, just keep in mind that according to a reliable source, Sparkle is likely going to be a very important character in the Elation meta, and she is going to be a part of the premium Elation team along with Yae Sakura's XP. This is a pretty good thing because this means that she'll have a lot of longevity on her own and also a partner for Yae, who is going to be the main focus for the Elation path, just like how Castorice was the main focus for the Remembrance path. For now, we don't know too much about Hanami's kit at the moment, but from the details that we do know, it looks like her playstyle will be similar to Archer. A heavy skill point consuming DPS that deals massive damage and gains big buffs based off the skill point consumption. Some sources have even stated that the original Sparkle will be a great pairing with Hanami, which is actually going to be a first-time thing, as generally Hoyoverse don't make the same characters good with each other. Lastly, the Planar set we received this patch in 3.7 also confirms this info of her being a skill point heavy DPS, as it is a set that buffs damage based off skill points, specifically consuming 3 or more in the same turn. Like, the only characters that can realistically do this are QQ, Dan Hung Il, and Archer, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense for them to release a totally new planar set for already released characters, right? In patch 4.0 though, Hanami will be released, and I think this set will synergize perfectly with whatever her kit is, as we can quite literally see her on the planar. Oh, also, I remember that quite a while ago, a source briefly mentioned that this new form of Sparkle will be a streamer, which is honestly kind of funny and fitting at the same time. Her being a streamer fits really well with Ida Star's entire vibe of being a futuristic and cyberpunk-themed planet, but at the same time, I really cannot think of a world where Sparkle doesn't get cancelled as soon she starts a stream and starts doing the casual Sparkle stuff. Finally, talking about team synergies, I think the other characters that might synergize with her are probably the Elation MC, Dan Hung PT, and potentially even Synergies as well. Out of these, the Elation MC synergy is pretty obvious, as monopath teams seem to be the direction that Hoyoverse is moving in for HSR. So I expect Elation MC to be a perfect match for Hanami in every way, even though we don't actually know what they do yet. I'm personally expecting a sub-DPS MC for the Elation path, but honestly, that's a discussion for another video. Next up, Dan Hung PT will also likely be good with Hanami, because she will be an attack scaling character, and Dan Hung PT is an amazing attack buffer that can generate a ton of skill points as well. At last, the most interesting and surprising synergy with Hanami may just be Synergies, as consuming skill points generally means that the character uses a skill to consume them, right? I know that QQ and Dan Hang Il have enhanced basic attacks, but we don't actually have a character that consumes a ton of skill points for one big skill nuke, so I think it's really obvious that Hanami will be the one to do this. Because of all that, Synergies is perfect for this, as she can duplicate Hanami's skill and also provide extremely powerful buffs on top of it. Now, if you see a Synergies rerun in patch 3.8, well, you already know why. Anyways, with that, I've told you basically all the stuff that we know right now related to Sparkle's new form. Personally, Sparkle is one of my favorite characters in HSR till date, so I'm obviously really hyped, and I was so happy when I saw the info that Sparkle will be getting a new form in patch 4.0. I'm curious though, how do you feel about Sparkle's new form at the current moment? And do let me know your thoughts on her kit, and what else you would like in her kit. Also, I didn't mention it before as it gets annoying, but if you liked the video, then do consider subscribing. With that being said, I love y'all and I will see you in another one.